Hi there, welcome to another video from the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association. This is another of our gun study videos where we take a look at a firearm from the Vickers machine gun collection and just have a quick look over it in a bit more detail. But before I get into this one a little bit more, I just want to have a real disclaimer and a caveat that what we're discussing in this video has some implications legally, and there is some confusion about the possession of this type of firearm, and we are not lawyers. We will speak from our best experience and our understanding of the firearms law in the UK, and it will be different everywhere. It will also be different for every kind of this firearm. So what we say here and what we demonstrate may not apply to exactly the same firearm being held by somebody else, because they may not be exactly the same. Because what we're going to be talking about is a skeletonized Lee-Enfield rifle action. And this is one that we were gifted into the collection a couple of months ago because somebody felt that they were not authorised to possess it. And we'll explain why as we go into a little bit more detail, why they thought that, and why we hold it in the way that we do. So we currently categorise this as a live firearm, despite the fact that it is skeletonized, it is sectioned, depending on which term of the which term you particularly use. We'll use skeletonized probably. I'll probably drop into sectioned a couple of times as well. But it's a skeletonized Lee-Enfield rifle action. So we possess this as a live firearm, and actually, because of the characteristics of it, it's considered a pistol because of the short barrel. So I'll explain why that is as we go through the video and give you an opportunity to understand what's going on here. So as I said, this is a skeletonized Lee-Enfield action. It's actually a number 4 action. The body here with the sight and the bolt is all number 4, but actually it's fitted with a short magazine Lee-Enfield, a number 1 magazine and trigger housing, so that the magazine release catch actually is a short magazine Lee-Enfield one as well. But just to look at the markings on it, and perhaps this goes into, this is an SKN 2094 in this case. SKN meaning skeletonized action, SKN. So this shows that it was factory skeletonized. So it was taken from, and this is where some of the confusion comes. So it's a belief and inaccurate. It's not a belief. It is stated or it is in law that if a weapon was never made into a firearm, so it was an instructional piece, it is not a firearm. So it was never made, never manufactured, capable of discharging a shot. And you can see where they've got sectioned items away. But one of the areas, so the individual that handed this in believed that they were concerned about its legality and didn't want to use effectively one of their slots on their UK firearm certificate to hold it. So they had bought it as not a firearm, but on closer inspection believed it could be. They were looking at it and looking at some of these marks, so you can see where there were markings. It looks like there's a date on here, 1952, in there. You can't see that in the light that we're using at the moment very well, but we'll have a closer look in a minute. So 1952, and you can see that some markings were ground away here where they would have been, and obviously the band that was beat on this side is not there at all as part of the skeletonization process. So it just sort of flagged some concerns. So I'll explain more as we go along. All we've done since this was handed in to us is added an extractor, because it would chamber rounds, but they wouldn't extract. So we've added that. But you can see in the butt there, we've got the skeletonized section, so you can see where the pull through and the oil bottle sits, which is really quite cool. There's nothing done to the rear of it, but yeah, you can see that in there, which is quite nice. You can then see how the right hand strap of the butt has been removed as well, and you can start to see where the bolt action. There'll be proper terms for this, I know, and I'm just not as familiar with those on the Lee-Enfields as I am on the Vickers, as I'm sure you understand. We've got this cutaway section here, and we've got a spring cutaway there, which I think, yep, is the spring for the rear sight as well. So you can just see that operating in there. Also cutaway is obviously this right hand side of the rifle body, so that we can see the trigger action, we can see the sear, and we can see that this is not, so we're going to depress the drill rounds that are in there, We can see that when the action goes forward, the sear is engaged, and we can see how that's engaged up in here. And we can fire off the action like so, and the action fires, and we can see all of this working, which is great. There's also a hole cut into the magazine, the SMLE magazine, so that we can see when there are rounds in there. You can see if I push them down, if it was full, I think there's only 3 or 4 rounds in there at the moment, but we'll be able to see the bottom of those rounds and the magazine platform depressed there. So that's quite good. You can see the side of the barrel is cut out here as well, and that is the only cut out on the barrel. So other versions of this have larger sections cut out, which is one of the issues potentially with this particular gun, in that there's no larger section of the barrel has been cut away. But the extractor has. So, and obviously the barrel has been cut down, so it's just an action, and is not intended to be a firearm. If we look on the left-hand side of the gun, we've got more of the magazine cut away, so we can see those drill rounds that are in there. We've obviously got that left-hand side of the body cut away as well, so we can see the action from that side. So we can pull it forward, we can see what the bolt is doing. As we do that, we can cock it, push that in place. We can now see that the firing pin is in here and is ready to be fired. The spring is compressed, and we can see what's happening here. Sear is there, and we can fire it off again. And we can see how everything moves when we do that, which is great. Functional safety catch, we can see, if we look at the rear here, we can see how that is cut away in there as well. Sorry, the camera shadow is causing quite a bit. I ought to have put another light on. But anyway, we can see how that safety catch engages. We can see when we've got the action, how the safety catch engages as well and will not fire. So we've actually added that bit back in. That bit was also missing from the gun. So we have that as well. So it's in all, I don't know, I think it's a 1950s day, so 1952. I think that is the year of skeletonization, SKN 2094. So yeah, I think that's probably a close-up of the gun. It needs a little bit more sort of love and attention to some of this stuff, which we'll get to over time. As you're aware, we've got lots. But it will be useful for when we do some of our safe use of small arms training on Lee-Enfield rifles, which will be coming in the next few months, I'm sure. So one of the things that we found on closer inspection was it appears that although the bolt has been sectioned, and there's clearly the barrel has been, there's a hole through the barrel here, and that extractor is sectioned as well, that actually on this gun, as it was received to us, we haven't done anything to it, the bolt face and the firing pin is intact. So this is why I say what we're talking about is specific to this gun, because some skeletonized rifles may have skeletonized bolt faces, may have cut down firing pins, and they may have fully sectioned barrels. So it's worth understanding the very specific firearm that you have in your hands. It's a belief, it's stated fact, that SKN indicates that they were factory made instructional pieces, so never a firearm. But this bolt head and firing pin has obviously been replaced at some point, or it was just a minor variant, because as we say, the barrel has not been cut. There may be many variants of these that have some controlled or controlled components, as opposed to sectioned and standard. So to demonstrate, take a primed case, put it in the magazine, and load it into the firearm, and it will fire. So that was obviously a primer, I know that, so I'm not wearing hearing protection, but then it will eject. So what you need to do is to make sure that if you are interested in a firearm such as this, so a skeletonized action, that it does not have any components that are truly capable of firing, and you are satisfied with its legality as a factory-made instructional piece. Or you just consider it that it's it's a functional firearm and you don't purchase it unless you're authorised to do so. As I said, we were advised that not only would this not be suitable to be held on our Section 1 register, we actually hold this on our Section 5 register because of the cut down length of the barrel. So that was the advice we received, and I would say that if anybody has these or is interested in possessing them, then they should seek some detailed advice before they do so. So let's say, we're here possessing it legally. We're able to demonstrate it. We're able to show it, and hopefully, you can see sectioned guns are actually, or skeletonized guns. I said I'd slip into it, didn't I? Skeletonized guns are something we really quite find useful for our training and safe use of small arms training series that we do. So please get in touch, let us know what sectioned guns, what skeletonized guns you might have. We have the Vickers, obviously, we have a Bren. That actually isn't a truly skeletonized gun. It's a drill purpose L54A1. So we've got a video on that, you can go and have a look. What else to say, really? Not much, but just, perhaps heed caution in looking at these guns, and look a bit closer and take some more advice when you do so. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon if you're able to, and let us know of anything you'd like to see in the future. I look forward to hearing from you.